Miami's hot, 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 hot fire. Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and we are back for another episode of The Real Housewives of Miami, and this is season 7, episode 12, and this episode is called Uncivil in Seville. Before we get into this episode, let me address things. So, I'm sorry I was delayed when it comes to the Real Housewives of Miami of it all, but I'm using this to finally get back on track. So, I saw the episode today, so, I already know I do the peacock of it all. Saw it today. I'm reviewing it today. Hair, I still gotta wash my hair, guys. So, for those who are wondering, I took my hair down and it's a whole entire process. And I forgot how much of a process it is because this last time doing my hair, I actually did a really good job as far as like having the equal amount of braids and all that. But the downside of it was it took me forever to take it down. It was a 2-day process. I took it down. I started the takedown on Wednesday. And that was just me taking down the weave. And for those who don't know, I crocheted it in. So I didn't actually do the actual braiding because it actually would have taken me much longer to do it. It's just the taking down actually takes. So I forgot when I crochet it, it takes me longer to take it down than it does for me to put it up. Versus when I braid it, it takes me longer to braid it, like put it together than to take it down. So that's kind of what we had going on. So I've been rocking a fro really since yesterday because I actually did go out a little bit yesterday. The fro doesn't look the way it was looking yesterday. Yesterday that fro was hitting. But today all I'm doing after I get done with the reviews is I'm going to run and then go on a bike ride. And then I'm going to finally just give my hair a good deep condition. And the way I just miss feeling my scalp, because the way the summer has been summering, I was like, as much as I love not having to do my hair as much, it just felt good. It feels good for my actual hair to be showing. And as you can probably tell, I really need a serious trim. It's growing, but it ain't growing evenly, and we know we gotta handle all that. So we're gonna try to get that done this weekend. And then I have a lot of things I gotta do around the house. I already know y'all don't want to hear all this, but I'm trying to establish a community here, and we're like family. So I just want y'all to know what's going on with me. So, I got a daybed installed. Well, not installed. I finally got my daybed stuff. I need to install it still. So what you see here right now, let me actually do this. So what y'all see right now, that is my chase. So in place of that will actually be my daybed. And then that way people could actually stay the night here. And the chase, it looks good for the aesthetics of it all, but it's not really functional when it comes to like my spare bedroom, because this is where we're in my guest bedroom. But I made this a room where I actually can use it outside of guests being here. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on when it comes to the home and repair of it all. And then last but not least, I will apologize ahead of time if randomly I'm breathing heavy. It's that time of the month, and I even already took ibuprofen, and I am just struggling. I feel horrible today. I don't feel good at all. Like I had to take some in the middle of the night last night because it, of course, happened. I don't know. And this might be TMI for y'all, but like for me lately, the older I've gotten, the more my thing, the lady thing, doesn't happen in the middle. It doesn't happen in the beginning of the morning. It's like nocturnal. It happens like evening, night. So about time, I knew it was coming because I can feel a little bit of cramping happening yesterday, but nothing actually happened until like I got home. So like close to like 11 o'clock at night. And so I still thought, okay, I could just sleep through it and it'll be fine. Child, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I felt like I was being stabbed. And maybe it has to do with the fact that I have fibroids. Speaking of, I should probably get that figure checked out to see if my fibroids have gotten worse or not, because it's just, the way I want to be post instead of like pre. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. It was TMI, but I felt it in my spirit. I had to say all this out loud. Let's get into the review of the actual show. Because actually, so I talked to one of my friends yesterday about this, about how much I'm just not feeling Miami the way I want to feel it. And I think this episode was better. I'm still just not loving this season, though. I really miss Dr. Nicole. And that was like my conclusion I came up with. I'm like, I really miss Dr. Nicole. Because Stephanie, for me, is not likable. In this episode, she did not help. She's not likable. And I also just don't like that there is clearly a divide in this group. And it's a lopsided divide. So I'm just not a fan. But anyway, let's get into the episode. So the last episode, ended as a to be continued. And so we're picking up where we left off. They're still at the dinner. Lars is still threatening to leave because Jody keeps, according to her, Jody keeps texting her. And what we found out, basically, Jody is just basically, long story less long, said, you're still talking about me. You're still dragging me into your issue with Lisa. Leave me out of it. Like, Jody is not going off on her, but she's lying. She's basically putting 20 on 10 and making it a big spectacle that is not. And we knew that's probably what she was doing because it's Larsa. She is the villain of the show. And so Lisa, while all this is going on, she's like, I'm sorry. I don't really care about this right now, because she found out that she needed to get her things notarized right then and there, had to figure it out. So she leaves the dinner to figure that out. And Gertie and Adriana are trying to talk to the rest of the girls, like, look, she actually has legal stuff that she has to handle right now. And Larsa, just being as cold as ice, is like, okay, she's been going over this for 3 years now. When is it going to be done? And it's like, I'm sure she's wondering that too. You're not the one who's going through this divorce. She is. And this is what bothers me about Larsa and people like her that are on these shows. She makes other people's issues about her. That's just what she always does. That is her MO. That's what she always does, because she really has nothing. She has nothing going on, clearly. What is Larsa's storyline? Don't worry, I'll wait. Her storyline is her beefing with Lisa. So she's going to find anything and everything to keep the beef alive. And I think Lisa is very aware of it. And so she is just like, you know what? No matter what I do, she's going to find something else to beef about when it comes to me. So she's trying her best to ignore her, but Lars is making it damn near impossible. But Lisa's also not doing herself any favors when it comes to how she's handling it. Both of them are just very immature and petty. And so that's why this is continuing on. And this is kind of also the reason why I mentioned in the last review that I don't care. It's stupid. I'm not really interested in this beef. But I am interested in what's going on with Lisa. Actually, I kind of wish we were talking about that more. But I also at the same time realize none of the girls want to talk about it more, just because Lisa will drag that out too, because Lisa's all the women are extra on the show. All of them are overly dramatic. And Lisa, when it comes to divorce of it all, she acts like she's the first woman to ever get divorced in life. So I can see how the others get annoyed by Lisa, because she does do that. So anyway, Adriana stays back and still trying to reason with Larsa and the rest of the women. Look, Lisa's actually going through some real stuff right now. Leave her alone. Give her some grace. And Larsa's having none of it. Her mouth is just lethal, and she's just on attack mode. While this is happening, Gertie actually goes with Lisa to try to figure out this, help calm her down, first of all, and get her refocused on what she needs to get done right away, which is her getting her stuff notarized. And so after Gertie does her job of getting her calmed down, and Gertie cracked me up with a confessional. She's like, Lisa and her drama. And she kind of, gave Lisa a little bit of a jab. She's like, honey, I've had to talk people off the ledge for worse. Like the groom stood them up at the wedding. Because, she's a planner. So she's like, I got this. But in this case, because remember earlier in the season with she thought she was mediating Larsa and Lisa and she didn't have it, and it was just like, girl, you didn't do anything there. This time she actually did her big one. She handled it very well. And so once she got Lisa refocused, she then had Lisa call Jody and figured out the notarizing of it all. But then she also talked to Jody too and gave her advice. She's like, Jody, I know what you were trying to do talking to Larsa, but don't ever do that again. Leave it alone. Larsa is just going to do what she does. You trying to reason with her, she's going to spin it as something else, which she did. And so Jody received that information and she got her legal stuff taken care of, found her notary right away and got it taken care of. And that was that on that. And then after that, Adriana's getting really emotional. So she ends up joining Gertie and Lisa because she's like, I don't like the pile on that you guys are doing. And Adriana's like, I actually am an empath. Like, I don't understand why you guys are being so mean to her. This, that, and this. And so Larsa's like, well, if you don't like it, leave. And respectfully, in this group, you just need one person to go off on Larsa. Real good. And respectfully, none of these women got it in them to really do it. Y'all need an Atlanta girly or like, heck, I would love to see Erica Jane versus Larsa, see what that would do. And Erica Jane is like light work in comparison. But like, because no one will step to Larsa and her like lethal mouth, and I don't know why, she just gets away just saying whatever. And it's like, oh my God. I just want someone real good to just be able to like cuss her out. Because that's all she needs. She just really needs a good cuss out. I mean, basically do her like the Kardashians did her. She would be on mute challenge after that. Just saying. Anyway. So then Lisa, Adriana, and Gertie, they come back. And Larsa's still just doing her thing and just trying to go off. And Lisa's like, look, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I got my things handled. We're good to go. And she's like, but anyway, what is your problem with me, Larsa? And then messy Marisol's like, spins it and brings up the note-taking thing. And Lisa's like, I'm going to take notes. And I want to know what y'all thoughts are in the note-taking situation. I don't think Lisa's doing anything wrong. I think the only thing she did wrong is say that out loud. I would have never told him that I'm doing that, but I'm going to do it. Because let's be so for real, how many of these other women are actually doing the same thing? They're all doing the same thing. The thing is, they're just smart enough to never say that they're doing that. Because we know why Lisa's doing that, because she wants to be able to clap back to Larsa because she spins her truth. Especially, she wants to have the receipts ready for the reunion. That's what she's really doing. She's preparing for the reunion ahead of time. And I respect it. Let's be so for real. If it was a real friend group, would that be weird or crazy? Yes. But I love how Lisa's clap back. She's like, well, I don't think we're friends. So like, I'm going to keep doing this to you. And Marisol's trying to say, are you going to just keep doing this to all your friends? I'm like, I would just be like, if I was Lisa, I'm like, again, Larsa and I are not friends, so I'm going to do this. Are you and I friends? Okay, then don't worry about that. I see, y'all just need people who actually can talk and use their words. Side note, this is not the first nor last time in this episode where words were not used properly. Yeah. Anyway, so then while all this is happening, by the way, Julia's trying to kiss everybody, and I'm sorry, but this kissing everybody shtick is getting stale. I'm over it. And seeing how Julia has also shown her whole entire behind this season, I'm like, ill. And Gertie, girl, I respect what you were trying to do, but respectfully, once someone disrespects me the way Julia disrespect me, you would never get anywhere near this again. Respectfully. I get she's trying to move forward and it's good for the show that she is doing that, but like I just didn't have the same reaction that I would have had if like everything if the first I guess 4 or 5 episodes would have happened. Like, and I was talking to my best friend about this last night. I was like, I think that's what's killing the show for me is those first 5 episodes kind of just put like a bad taste in my mouth. So now I just can't get into it anymore. Like I've kind of just disengaged from the whole entire show because I don't like how it was handled, and I still don't like how it's being handled. Like there's been no communication about it. Hopefully during the reunion they resolve it, so maybe next season I could come back with like more of an open mind. But for me, this season's kind of a wrap when it comes to like how I feel about things, unfortunately, because Gertie deserves an actual true apology from everyone, not just Julia. But anyway, sorry to be the Debbie Downer, keep bringing it up, but I just know if I was Gertie, I would feel this way. And honestly, if I was Gertie, I would never talk to any of these women again. But at the same time, I see her stance. You're not gonna force me off this show. If anything, y'all can go. So I get it. I completely get it. But anyway, moving on. Separated into 2 groups. There's a group that was like doing art, but looks like they were doing drawing. And the other group was sightseeing. I would have chose the sightseeing group for more reasons than one. Number one, the sightseeing was more interesting in general. And number 2, the people who were doing the sightseeing. So for the girls who were doing sightseeing we have Lisa, Gertie, Adriana, and Kiki. And Kiki was kind of the odd one there. Especially what happens later on in the episode, she was the odd one there. And then on the other end, we have the other ladies. And what is bothering me about this, because it's Larsa, now it's like basically 5 against 4. I mean, 5 against 3. Because Stephanie is going to side with Larsa. And then everyone else is going to do the same thing too. And also too, Lisa is not doing herself any favors. And I love that finally, after they do the sightseeing of it all, it is addressed of why Lisa needs to just unfollow Marcus and stop being immature about it. And stop being petty. Because no matter what, it's not making Lisa look good. And it basically, you're giving Larsa an easy edge over you where she's justified in acting the way she's acting. You basically are helping her out with this. You're helping her with her storyline, basically. Without, it's not that hard now that Larsa can keep going after you and people are not going to look at it like wrong, because it's just like, you could have been unfollowed him. I get why Lisa just out of principle doesn't want to, just because Lars is telling her what to do. But at the same time, it's like, it doesn't make sense. And honestly, once Adrienne breaks that down for her, she's like, okay, I'm going to follow. And it was a whole entire big deal. But prior to that, though, they do the sightseeing of it all. And Adriana, you are a treasure. I honestly would love to travel with Adriana. I would love it. Because she just knew, because she's so connected when it comes to the art world throughout the world. She knows she basically was their tour guide. They didn't need a tour guide. She was a tour guide and knew the history of like all the things they were looking at, all the architecture they were looking at. And it was like, wow. And I'm like, see, this is why Adriana's on the show. Now, Adriana makes an ass of herself later on in the episode, but, it happens. Anyway, so then Kiki, so prior to them resolving it, because I kind of skipped over that, Kiki does actually try to confront Lisa. It's like, girl, I know you're going through some things, but everyone's going through things. And that is part of the issue with Lisa. And that's why she's kind of annoying, because she literally acts like she's the first to have to deal with all this stuff. And all the women have real life stuff going on. But Lisa definitely is that type that gets frazzled very easily, which is why I'm still floored how she even got there to Spain and met the girls alone. I don't know how she did that. I'm still trying to figure out how she did that, when literally it seems like she is so delicate and she gets frazzled by things so easily. Also, too, side note, and I'm just wondering, does anyone know the answer to this? Does Lisa have like ADHD or something like that? I just feel like there's just something, and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm actually legitimately asking, does she have like ADD or ADHD or something like that? And is that why she just kind of just, loses focus or whatever? Because if she does, that makes a lot of sense. It makes actually a lot of sense. Anyway, so Lisa finally does unfollow Marcus. And then while this is happening on the other end, we have the ladies doing the drawing, and most of the ladies are like trying to draw penises. I'm like, okay. Funny, I guess. I don't know. And then Julia and Marisol decide they're going to be the ones who talks to Lisa about how they're going to get to the other city in Spain, because they're supposed to be flying in, Stephanie's private jet. But if Larsa and Lisa are still not getting along, that's going to be problematic, right? So they're going to have a conversation with her about it. And apparently all the ladies that are on the drawing side are uncomfortable with her recording. Like, not even recording them, like taking notes on her phone. And it's just kind of like, and I love in the after show, Gertie spelled it out too. If you don't lie or you're not attacking someone, basically if you're not doing anything wrong, you would have nothing to worry about. Just saying. Anyway. So moving on. So then the ladies get back, and Julia and Marisol do end up going to talk to Lisa. Things did not go well because Marisol was basically trying to get Lisa to like put her phone away, like actually lock it up in a safe and whatnot. She's like, I have kids, I'm not going to do that. And then Lisa's like, is anyone else doing that? And Marisol's like, yeah, we all can do that. If that makes you feel better, we could just all do that. But like, we just need to do that. And Lisa's like, I don't agree with this. I'm not doing this. So Lisa then kind of throws a temper tantrum. She's like, I don't feel wanted on this trip. So therefore, I'm just not going to go to dinner. Problem solved. I'm going to do what I'm doing. And that's that on that. But we find out, of course, it's not going to end that way. But the talk did not go well. So then fast forward to dinner. The ladies are getting ready for dinner. We find out that Lisa is going to go. She's going to be in her good behavior. And we saw that Marisol reached out to her again without Julia over the phone and basically talked her off the ledge. Like, look, I'm not trying to say we don't want you there. It's just, it comes off kind of odd. Like, and I kind of get their standpoint because they're treating her taking notes. You know what? I don't. I'll be honest. I don't. I'm kind of just like, because I feel like they are treating like her taking notes as if it's like an invasion of privacy, and it's not that. It's basically, don't come for me unless I send for you. Don't start none, won't be none. That's all the note taking is. But like, when you're on the side of the mean girls, you don't understand that because you are going to always be starting something. So maybe that's their problem. But anyway, neither here nor there. Yeah. So they then do arrive at dinner, And Adrienne is so happy for Lisa that she finally decided to be mature and unfollow Marcus. So she announces it to the whole entire table. Gertie then is like, whoa, we weren't supposed to tell them. And Adrienne's like, wait, what? And they show a scene, they show the back scene, the scene from before. And Gertie was like, let's make a pact. So it was Lisa's idea to make a pact and not say anything to Larsa to see when will Larsa realize that happened. So that Larsa can make her, so to basically see if Larsa's still going to have the same energy that she's been having. So instead of announcing it, she wanted it to be where Larsa would find out on her own. And then also that way Larsa can't do what she's doing on the after show, saying she didn't do it for the right reasons. Which, I mean, she's not really wrong. She kind of didn't do it for the right reason. She didn't do it for Larsa. She did it so Larsa will leave her alone. So she's not really wrong there, but anyway. I see why Lisa wanted to keep it a secret. And so Gertie's like, yeah, we're supposed to keep that secret. And then they're just talking, and then Lisa shows up late, and the ladies are still annoyed by Lisa because Lisa always shows up late still. Like, she still has not learned to, like, not show up late. And I do wonder about that because that is so rude. I get why Stephanie is annoyed by her because she's like, it's just rude that she always does this. And so we're thinking, leading up to this dinner, Lisa and Larsa are going to be the issue. The way things switch like that, and that's not even the issue anymore. So Lisa, she's like, what's the tea? What's going on? She's basically trying to, like, basically act as if, like, she didn't show up late and stuff like that. And see, I think it would take Lisa a long way if she apologized for being late every time she's late. Even though, you know, the other thing she could do is just stop being late. But, like, if she's going to do that, apologize. Also, too, what will also take her the long way, instead of people reaching out to her and then they find out she's going to be late, she needs to be proactive to let them know, hey, I'm going to be late. Don't wait up for me. You guys go. I'll meet you there. If she was to do that, that would take her a long way. She doesn't do that, though, of course. And then, so then basically, she's just kind of like, she's like, what's the tea? What's going on? And then immediately Kiki, like clockwork, she's like, yeah, Adrienne basically told your business, even though we made a promise to not do that. That's what she did right then and there. I'm like, and this is why I completely understand why Julia and Kiki are sitting with each other in the after show. Y'all both are just pick-me thirst buckets. The fact that it's just like she wanted a moment so bad, and that was her trying to get a moment. Like, let's be so for real. That was her trying to get a moment because there was no reason for that. Because it wasn't really that offensive. It wasn't that much of an offensive thing where Lisa's going to be mad or anything about it. It wasn't that serious. It wasn't that deep. And Lisa's like, okay, and whatever. I mean, and, you know, Adrienne was like, yeah, I didn't mean to do it. I'm sorry. And then Kiki's trying to say she meant to do that. And Kiki's, and then out of nowhere, Adrienne calls Kiki ratchet, and everyone was like, ah! Record scratch. Because number one, how is Kiki ratchet? And Adriana, I love Adriana. And this is when I'm going to give her grace, and maybe I'm being a little biased, but I am going to give her grace. But it's not a good look when a white person calls a black person ratchet. That's number one. So Kiki, of course, was offended and was going off about it. And also, too, ratchet, it was weird. It was just a weird thing because Adriana is like not... She's not that age where... And so this is where the ageism thing came in at. Because Kiki called her... She basically said you're too old to be saying that. And this is where both of them being English is a second language for them, or maybe I think technically Adriana's case, third language. This is how this happened. You know, this would never happen on any other housewife show. It happened because both of them are English as second language, and I feel like when Adriana used that word, she technically used it correctly, but it's not the way millennials, because it's a millennial term basically, it's not the way a millennial would say it. And that's kind of why also like a lot of the women, especially like Marisol, and this is not them trying to be mean, they're just like, they were confused because they're not of the age that, they're not the age bracket where they would use that word. That's like similar to me talking in like Gen Z lingo constantly. Like big facts. I think that's theirs. I don't know. I don't talk like that really, so I don't understand. But like, you get the gist. Like, that's what I think. That's what Kiki meant. But the way she said it sounded crazy too. Both of them did that, and then of course it escalated like crazy. And then out of nowhere, Stephanie's offended by the whole entire thing, and all the women are offended because they're in the middle of dinner in Spain. I get why they're offended because they're actually embarrassed. So like they're just like, so then the dinner ends abruptly. They leave. But Kiki was making it worse. And Adriana was not helping either. Because Kiki offended Adriana when she basically called her old. But we find out in the after show, this is not the first time Kiki has called her old. And it's like, Kiki, there's going to be a point in time when you're Adriana's age and let's be so for real, Kiki's melanin, so she probably is gonna look that good. But like, girl, we gotta leave the age thing out of there. But in Kiki's defense, and I didn't think I was gonna do this, but in Kiki's defense, I don't think Kiki meant it in that way either. But long story less long, it escalated because neither of them like used the words and stuff properly. Even Alexia's like, this is escalating because none of y'all know how to use words properly. And Alexia, pot meat kettle, she don't know how to use words properly either. And it's just kind of like, this is like a cast full of women minus really, it's really like, there's only like 3 people that use words properly on this show. It's like Larsa, Lisa doesn't either, because Lisa's a little on the ditzy side. Like, respectfully, I like Lisa, but she is a little on the ditzy side. Okay, only 2. I would say Gertie and like Larsa are like the only 2 people that kind of use words properly. And usually for the most part, Adriana does too, but this was like one of her moments where she didn't use the word properly because of English not being her first language. And ratchet is a word that could be when it's a white person saying to a black person, that could mean something else and not in a good way. And, you know, Gertie was trying to explain to her, like, yeah, ratchet's like calling her ghetto. Like, I don't think you meant that. and then Adriana was like, no, I didn't mean that. Like, so she was mortified. You could tell after the fact, Adriana was mortified. It was definitely not giving she meant to say that. And I was like, yikes. But anyway, the dinner ends abruptly, and then the ladies go to comfort Stephanie. And I'm just like, why is this now about Stephanie? But anyway, let's go on. And this is the other reason why, by the way, I don't like Stephanie. You keep offering your playing, you keep offering your gifts, you keep offering your money. And then at any time you will hold it over someone's head when things don't go your way. And so she basically uses money and things as like a way to control people. And I find that extremely disgusting. And so that's kind of the other reason why I do not really like Stephanie at all. I think she's great for the show. I like the extra dynamic she adds. Man, I just hope Dr. Nicole comes back next season. But I can also not blame her if she doesn't, because some of these women are vile people, horrible people, and you can kind of tell. Especially the fact that one of the women allegedly had a private investigator follow her around. So yeah, I get why she would never want to be back on this show. But basically mean girl behavior at their big age. So anyway, but so she's upset, and Mira saw Alexia and Larsa go to comfort her. And Stephanie's actually quite pleasantly surprised that Alexia is there comforting her and giving her space. But then it kind of starts to go left fairly quickly, because now, because of everything's going on, everyone's going to fly on this plane. But it's a side note, this is a 20-minute trip. And now Stephanie wants to do this assigned seat thing, and she wants one person to just be by themselves. She wants to basically alienate Adriana altogether. And I'm like, girl. And it's at the point where even Alexia and Marisol's like, I'm not, that's too much. That's too much. That's too much. Because, and I get why, because really at this point, Alexia and Marisol don't really have a problem with Adriana at this point again. Like they I feel like they're taking that truth seriously, and they're trying to just leave it alone. And I mean, they're just calling a thing that Adriana and Kiki ruined the dinner, but they both ruined the dinner. It wasn't just the one or the other. They both ruined the dinner. And honestly, if you really think about it, it was really Kiki, because Kiki started yelling after she was called ratchet. But like, Kiki, I just really wish Kiki would use her brain and realize, like, how do you think Adriana would know that word? I don't think she knew the real meaning of the word. Like, and this is what, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I think Kiki was just looking for a moment. So I agree why she was offended, but at the same time, it was given she was also looking for a moment. It was a little bit both, 1A, 1B. Because Adriana just isn't, to me, and maybe I just am biased, but I feel like she did not mean to use the word the way she used it. But anyway, I know I'm going back to that, but back to the Stephanie of it all. She now wants to control this sightseeing, and then they're like, well, maybe you should send this, how the jet is like formatted, and send it in the group text. And that was like Larsa's suggestion. But Stephanie still wants to do this controlled seating thing, and you can tell the bros like are like not into it. And it's kind of giving some foreshadowing that they might opt out of going on this private plane. The way this is going. And so I'm wondering next week how that's going to go, but that is kind of how the episode ends. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought about the review. Again, it was a decent episode. I'm glad though. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention before things went horribly left, because then Adriana made it worse again during the dinner. Lisa did apologize to the women, and she basically tried to put a pin in things, and she tried to resolve and try to be a bigger person. So Larsa and Lisa can coexist, basically. So that's why they're also not the issue anymore. Because I think Lisa was going to get her things off and really try to fully apologize, but then Adriana kind of took over because she was upset with Kiki for basically using her age against her. But yeah, I will say this. So I don't know if did any of y'all watch the Carlos King interview with Kiki? I didn't watch it, but I heard people review the interview, and my opinion of Kiki's still the same. And now I'm really understanding why she's only friend of. I think I've said it before, but I really now am fully understanding why she's friend of. She just comes off as super surface, and then I think there's still either she's playing dumb when it comes to communication barriers, nuances when it comes to American culture versus her culture and English and all that, or she really is that did see. Either way, I don't know. And I wish, I really, really, because she also took no accountability for not having Gertie's back. She's playing the victim when it comes to the whole entire thing. But I am looking forward to see how the reunion ends up panning out. Yeah. But anyway, that does conclude this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of content. Sorry if I was leaning back a little bit towards the end, but like I already told y'all, my ovaries are going WWE on me right now. Yeah. You know what? Not even WWE. UFC. I'm in pain. I'm trying to joke, but I'm like, no, I'm in pain right now. But anyway, we'll see you next time. Oh my gosh, that sounded horrible. But anyway, I will see you next time. There it goes. Bye.